Hey, welcome to Beyond Time Management. I'm Dr. Lon Schiffbauer, and this is Module 11, Reviewing, Reassessing, and Celebrating Wins. In our last module, we talked about developing resilience and basically learning to turn our failures into fuel and opportunities to facilitate continued progress. And so now we're making progress, which means you've got some wins. And yeah, you're moving forward. But it's important that we constantly review, reassess, and celebrate these wins. And so that's what we're doing today. First, I just said it's important, but why? Why do we want to review our progress? Well, it's a long journey, and, we're not going to accomplish what we want to accomplish in short order. Remember, we're working with long-term objectives, long-term goals. And so reviewing provides insight regarding what's working and what's not. This way, we're always making sure that we're going in the right direction. And if we start to get lost on any tangents, we can bring things back to center. It also helps to prevent burnout. When celebrating our wins, we kind of get to feel a little bit of that euphoria of, wow, look at how far I've come. I'm really going places. That kind of keeps us motivated and driven to continue to perform. This beats out burnout. It also helps you stay on target. Regular check-ins keep you aligned with your goals and purpose. That way you don't get lost and, start to go down paths that don't really align with who you are or what you want to accomplish. That's really easy to do. You don't want to wake up one day and go, what have I done with my life? This isn't what I imagined. This is what reviewing does. Helps us make sure that we don't wake up like that. Okay, so those are just some of the reasons why you want to review your progress. So now let's talk about how we are going to do this. First, on a very regular basis, and I mean like weekly at least, you might even do it daily, but at least weekly, you want to take a moment and kind of look back. What did you accomplish in the past week, month, or quarter? This way, you always kind of have your pulse on where you're going, what you've done, and what you have yet to do. As you review what you've done over the past week, month, or quarter, you want to evaluate the output, right? Have you done what you wanted to do? So what worked well and what could you improve and how would you improve it? You also want to identify patterns. By this, I mean look for patterns in what you do that enable or hinder your progress. For example, in a previous module, we talked about basically systematizing our actions, making sure that we are being efficient and effective in all that we do. Well, we may find that some of our habits and some of our processes aren't working quite as well we want them to. On the other hand, we have some other processes that are working really well. So we can basically learn from one to find remedies for the other. This is what I mean by looking for patterns. I mean, after all, environments change, needs change, the world changes. And just because you decided on a long-term objective 3 months ago and it made sense then, it doesn't mean that that same objective makes sense now. So rather than continue to chase after something that's no longer relevant, we want to kind of catch ourselves as early as we can. That's part of the review process. And in a broader sense, you'll want to assess your strategies. Is your mindset properly supporting you? Do you have a growth mindset? Are you being resilient and adaptable? Are you positive and focused on what you're doing? Do you need to kind of do some recalibrations mentally? After all, guys, none of this is rocket science. You've heard a lot of this before. So the techniques and strategies and tactics, they're not unique. The challenge is in doing it, actually doing it. And this is where our mindset comes into play. So if you're not doing things the way you want to do things upon review of your past week, month, and so forth, It's probably a mindset issue. Okay, but you are doing well. You're doing fantastic, which means you need to celebrate your wins. Now, sharing my own personal take on celebration, I should celebrate my wins more, but I kind of have it in my head that the celebration needs to be big, flamboyant, expensive, involved. That's not the case. Let me show you what I mean. First, simply acknowledge your achievements. Own them. Give yourself credit for the wins, no matter how small they may be. Recognizing progress creates momentum and motivation to keep going, and you want that. And then reward yourself. Allow yourself a meaningful reward, one that bolsters your feelings of accomplishment. Now, this is where I struggle because I feel like, oh, does it have to be $100 who's a what's it? No. It could just be you get to watch a movie or you get to spend some time on this video game that you don't play very often, or you get to have your favorite energy drink. They can be small rewards, but a real reward that you allow yourself when you celebrate your wins. Finally, take the time to reflect on your growth. This really feels good. It's very self-affirming. So take the time to think on the skills you've gained, the lessons you've learned, and the personal growth that you've achieved. It's marvelous, at least in my opinion. One of my favorite quotes, I don't know if it's a quote, it's a saying. One of my favorite sayings is, "I'm better today than I was yesterday, but not as good as I'll be tomorrow." I really like this because it's both very affirming of how far I have come, but also sort of aspirational for how far I want to go. So yeah, I like it. And so there you go. Take these steps and yeah, you're going to be in great shape. And on the topic of steps, we're almost done. In our next episode, we're going to wrap a bow around this thing, give a conclusion and next steps. So yeah, you're almost set. Stick around. Let's end this thing right and celebrate a win. All right, that's all I've got for today. Now, go off and make some trouble, and we'll talk again soon.